Hello, good day everyone. Yep, I'm back so soon after from my last live stream. Well, actually, I just kind of took in for a short break. Everybody needs a break every now and then, right? I mean, at least to take a little rest. There we go. We're back again on our live stream sessions, and we're just gonna go. Well, there's still enough time because it's just still around 10 o'clock, 10:30, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty much the what do you call this? The live streams. I mean the nest or the online PvP matchups is still ongoing. Okay, so just give me a second. I am just kind of like I'm just oh, okay, yeah, that explains it. I was okay, I just made a mistake. There we go. Nice. And okay, there we go. We're ready. So let's go back again to our usual online PvP on ranked match, and let's get it on. I kind of figured that it's still kind of early, so yeah, why not make another live stream, right? Besides, it's still still too early for me. I still got at least what do you call this? I still got another live stream, but it's a different one, not of course Armored Core. And also, one thing that I should announce is that I have now reached 1,000 videos in my channel. Nice. And I don't know what to say. I kind of started out just only a single. Oh my goodness, what's going on? It seems that my alright. Okay. So my audio is now fixed up. Not sure if this was a headset problem or something. Okay. So yeah, I'm now on my 1,000 videos and on my channel. So that's a long way, considering that 10 years ago I was just only having a single, single videos. Now coincidentally, I've already hit the mark of 1,000 videos, one of my bucket list, and at the same time this also marks my 10 years on YouTube, or at least 10 years existence on YouTube. Well, officially I already go as far back as 2012, but my channel wasn't active back then, and I was I didn't post any videos. I was just logged into the YouTube ID. But my first post, or my first video post, was way back in 2015. So yeah, that's a long way. So that was the first post that I went inactive for about 5 years after that, and then I just recently reactivated my channel after substituting from my typical vlogging habits. Normally I was just a vlogger that writes, but now I'm kind of shifted. I didn't really have much audience there. Kind of pretty much more like vlogs. I mean, not the V ones. The blogs was basically very dead now, or at least very dead. So let's see. Vlog. I mean, I used to post articles on Blogspot, but pretty much I think Blogger is pretty much dead now. Okay, Blogspot is dead. Yeah.
Blogging is a terrible side hustle, I gotta say it, okay? Right now, if you want to make money online, and if you type on YouTube how to make money online, you're going to hear a tad bit about blogging. Now, the ways with which you can make money blogging is going to be either Google Ads or affiliates. Now, with Google Ads, you're not gonna make a ton of money. It's just going to be a little bit of money here and there, and it also depends on your website traffic. Now, for affiliates, those would work. But if you want to earn from affiliates, suppose I have a website for men's grooming, I need to have some sort of authority for people to take me seriously, and only then they'll choose to buy the products that I recommend. So by the time you really get to that level, you'll have written hundreds, if not thousands of blogs that, you know, some of them don't perform well, some of them might perform well, but then they'll not have any sort of conversions. And let's not even talk about how much you're going to be in battle with search engines, especially Google. They'll constantly bring changes to their algorithms, and yeah, it's going to be a constant battle, so it's simply not worth it. Any sort of side hustle that really provides value to other people that they are willing to pay you for is always going to be the best approach to however you want to make money online. So if you want to know my recommendation, go check out this video up on my channel. I'll leave that video down.
I was like that blogging a decade ago, way before YouTube exists, but it was more like a dead end type of hobby. So yeah, vlogging is much more you know, it gets more audience rather than just writing. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, blogging was dead, or yeah, in 2025. So knowing that you know, blogging is that kind of thing, I pretty much shifted to vlogging using YouTube. And there we go, that 5 years ago. So, and that leads me up to this time where I am now actively making videos. Okay, there you go. Yeah, pretty much got wrecked on that. So I guess I got the whole night anyway, or the whole until morning to fly around. But maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'll see if pretty much Armored Core servers are dead in the morning or early morning. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Alright, where are those guys? Oh, okay, there's only one who... Oh, crap. Alright, I could see... Alright. Yeah, pretty much this guy's dead. And I also got killed. Okay, there we go. Purple guys are... Yeah, someone's following me. Pretty sure. There we go. Bagged one guy. Right. At 30%. Ah. Yeah. I got hit on that thing. Alright, nice fight. Okay, let's wait for our next match with that. Oh, dungeon crawl. Terrible writing advice. Yeah, I think I'll call it a day with that. I'm not gonna go right, or at least maybe I'll have to do that on my free time. Let's see about Megan. Oh wait, Megan 2025. This was a movie. Oh, what's this? What's happening to his face? Yeah, definitely some makeup. Good reasons. After my dismissal, the company's market value plummeted, leaving the female CEO in tears. Okay. Okay, golden age that survived. Interacts the dark age with technology, human pocket empire. Yeah, okay, let's hear about this one.
Pamamanhid
This is about the universe of
take Dr.
Warhammer
Prescribed
40K
Neurobion.
anyway.
It's 4 times B12 versus a generic B vitamins brand. Helps relieve these symptoms of nerve damage. Ask your pharmacist for Neurobion.
Hey, what's up? Are you sleep deprived? Try the Narcolepsy Challenge on Ascension Custom WoW 1 Life Hardcore mode. You have a fatigue.
Yeah.
Is only war.
Okay, the last primal.
Hello, nerd. After the fall of humanity, most of mankind regressed back to fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah.
The enlightened ways of the golden age of technology were gone, but not everyone had the same fate. There were some
Okay.
human pocket empires that survived, even thrived, while the rest of mankind was sinking in its own pile of excrement. And that is why this time we will look at Interrex. I know we have spoken about them previously, but that was just a short overview, so now we will
Yeah,
fix
I think
it.
most of
But
them
before
got
we jump
wiped
in,
out
please
by the
subscribe
Emperor
because it just helps the channel
Mankind's
to grow.
forces.
And in return, you shall receive daily Warhammer 40,000 videos. And with that said, let's begin,
Yeah.
shall we?
Okay, let's see how
So
this
imagine
goes.
a shard of humanity that didn't just survive the collapse of the dark age of technology. They adapted, evolved, and managed to build something that didn't completely fall into barbarism or techno-superstition. That's
Okay.
the Interrex. They were this pocket empire, isolated and obscure, but stunningly advanced and weirdly enlightened compared to what the rest of humanity turned into. You know how the Imperium became this grimdark Frankenstein of techno-religion, bureaucratic inertia, and xenophobic paranoia? Yeah, the Interrex were the opposite of that in a lot of ways. Their origins go way back to the height of the dark age of technology. We are
Okay.
talking about a time when humanity was spread all over the stars, wielding science that looks like sorcery to anyone in M42. The Interrex seem to have been a colony or offshoot that, when the Age of Strife hit, managed to hold it together. Probably because they were small and mobile at first, and had a
Right.
really tight command of their AI equivalents, which were not worshipped as gods nor treated as tools, but were seen as equals. There's this implication that they deliberately distanced themselves from the reckless hubris that doomed old Earth. They
Alright.
saw what was coming and took a hard turn away from it. They did things with thought and care, which is basically heresy by Imperium standards.
Yeah.
By the time the Great Crusade stumbled into their space, the Interrex had become something totally unique. Their society was highly structured, but not in the rigid, joyless way the Imperium is.
Right.
It was more like a caste system that actually worked, with roles determined by aptitude and tradition, but not enforced through violence or ignorance. Knowledge was
Okay.
revered, but not hoarded. They didn't burn books, they wrote them. Music was
Alright.
a key part of their culture, not just art, but a kind of semiotic technology. Their instruments could be weapons or communication devices or both. They had weaponized music, literal sound warfare. The Emperor's children could learn a thing or two. And then there's the Xenos thing. The Interrex didn't just tolerate aliens, they lived alongside them. Not because they were weak or naive, but because they had figured out a way to coexist. The most notable were the Kinnebrag, a race of advanced, intelligent Xenos who had once been enemies of humanity during the ancient expansionist period, but had over time been integrated into Interrex society. The Kinnebrag brought their own tech, philosophy, and perspective to the mix. They weren't pets or slaves or underclass citizens. They were partners, equals in many senses. This made the Interrex incredibly strange to the Imperium, which saw anything non-human as a threat to be purged on sight.
Sure the
way the Interrex ran their empire was almost surgical in its precision. Everything had a reason. Their military wasn't huge, but it was advanced and efficient, with a focus on defense and containment rather than domination. Their ships were sleek, multifunctional, and elegant. Their soldiers trained not just in war, but in ethics, philosophy, and the arts. They believed in understanding the enemy, not just killing them. So you can imagine how well that went over when they met the Lunavos and the early Imperium forces.
Yeah,
it was like putting a bunch of Renaissance scientists in a room with cavemen who think lightning comes from angry gods. They were highly wary of ancient weapons and warp tech, and for good reason. They had this huge museum vault filled with relics they called forbidden technologies from the Dark Age. Not because they didn't understand them, but because they did. They had a deep understanding of just how dangerous certain things could be, especially those tied to war. This made them come across as superstitious to someone like Horus, but they were anything but. They just didn't buy into the Imperium's blind ambition to reclaim all lost knowledge without questioning why it was lost in the first place. The tragedy is that this could have been one of humanity's greatest allies. The Interrex had knowledge, tech, and perspective that could have reshaped the Imperium for the better.
Yeah,
but well, this is Warhammer 40,000, and Erebus is a shit stain you can't wash away. And even though Horus did want to make friends with them, it wouldn't be grimdark if that would happen. But for a brief moment, there was a glimpse of what humanity could.
Okay, we'll just, you know, that kind of reminds me, probably have to go to make a playthrough about that. Well, at least in Stellaris, where I think humanity was, you know, on this sci-fi thing. I'll see how it plays out, of course. Probably I'll gonna make that type of gameplay someday, Stellaris. For now, I'm still finishing one of my stories there. I've already finished one. Oh crap. Yeah, I got burned out on that one. Okay, there we go. Okay, yep, he's on PA. It's not gonna last. Right. Okay, we got a lock on that guy. Yeah, I bet he has a lock on as well on my side. Okay, there we go. So who's next? Yeah, we're definitely winning with this. Ah, right. Got hit on that. Oh, right. Yeah, that was really fast. I was in the process of detonating my armor there. Okay, there we go. Let's go. Ooh, definitely we got an active war zone there. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Oh shit. Okay. Nice, nice. There we go. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna go back with about checking in on this Warhammer 40k thing.
Have been balanced, wise, diverse, and powerful in a way that didn't rely on brute force or blind faith.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, the enemy.
The Interrex weren't blind to the war. In fact, they were some of the very few human-descended civilizations outside the Imperium who really understood it. Not in the mechanized, half-religious manner of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and not with the blind dread of primitive worlds that whispered of demons and omens, but with the eyes open and shields raised. To the Interrex, the war wasn't just a method of faster-than-light travel. It was a dangerous, semi-sentient realm of mutable energy, thought stuff, and raw emotion. They knew what it could do to minds, to planets, to entire civilizations, and more importantly, they knew what lived in it. They called it the anatheme in a cultural sense, not just a term for one weapon, but a whole category of corruptive force. Let me clear something up. There was the anatheme blade, from which multiple athame daggers were created. Same weapon, different meaning. And no, it's not anathema. Remember this, it will be important. When it came to chaos, not all of it was clearly labeled or categorized like how the Imperium eventually named the ruinous powers, but they knew of forces that could manipulate reality, turn desires into predators, twist will into disease. Their understanding was abstract, mytho-scientific, not dogmatic. Where the Imperium would scream demon, the Interrex would speak of sentient resonance anomalies. But the conclusion was the same. These things were real, dangerous, and, if you weren't careful, you became a doorway for them. So how did they know all this? They had history, records, artifacts, likely some surviving Dark Age tech that monitored or even interacted with the Immaterium in ways lost to the Imperium. They even interacted with the Eldar that informed them of chaos and its nature. And then there was the Kinnerbrach. That Xenos race had apparently fought their own ancient wars against war-born predators and brought knowledge that Interrex took very seriously. This wasn't just folklore, it was the accumulation of hard-earned experience. Every relic locked away in their vaults was a warning. Every tale passed down was a red flag. They saw chaos not as a god or gods, but as a pattern, a corruptive presence that could hijack systems, cultures, even biology. That brings us to the real question, why the Interrex thought the Imperium was infected. To them, the signs were everywhere. First, there was the cultural aggression. The Imperium rolled in with threats, ultimatums, and skulls on their armor. That alone was a warning flag. The Interrex knew that one of the first signs of anatheme influence was the amplification of violent instincts, tribalism, and absolutism. Second, they noticed how the Imperials treated technology like it was sacred. That kind of tech.
Yeah, but the problem with the Interrex, I'm pretty sure they did not survive. Then I'm not even sure if they even escape on that one. But let's hope that they escape, at least lore-wise. Okay, but anyway, we got a fight coming up. So Ore, me, Magnolia. Okay, seems like a solid team. And we got some writings. Ken, Yol, and Selima Vilde. Oh, okay. Right. There we go. And we're gonna fight in the shipyard. Yeah, pretty much. Oh crap. You know, there's the problem with this kind of weapon. It has a delay when it comes to
at 30%.
oh shit. Yeah, peekaboo. Yeah, it's a good back weapon. I mean, most of the weapons are concentrated on the front side of the IC, so there's no some sort of back weapon which basically fires from the back. You saying, of course. Alright. You know, they should have an option about an assault armor detonating at you know, once the kind of like a bomb or something that it would detonate after the IC's defeat or destruction. You know, kind of like a reverse function of a terminal armor, but instead of being activated as a defense, it's gonna be activated as a final offense for the IC. Yeah, like this one.
AP at 30%.
Da 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 da. Okay, so yeah, this is one guy. Okay, nice. Okay, there we go again. Doo-doo-doo. And let's go back again on our YouTube program and see how this video
No,
ends.
mysticism was precisely the sort of thing that got civilizations corrupted, at least in their view. Ritualizing machines, obeying them like gods, that sounded a lot like anatheme-influenced behavior. But the final straw was the literal anatheme weapon, a blade stolen by Erebus from the Interrex wall. It wasn't just some cursed knife, it was a war-tainted relic. Humming with resonance patterns the Interrex had catalogued and learned to fear. The fact that Erebus had stolen it, and worse, that he could touch it without flinching, was a massive red siren to them. No one cleaned from warp influence could interact with such a thing so casually. So, from their point of view, here came this empire dressed in skulls, worshipping their machines, issuing holy war proclamations, and casually walking around with items that should have been deep in containment walls. They weren't seeing conquerors, they were seeing vectors of infection, missionaries of anatheme. The Interrex genuinely thought they were dealing with a chaos-worshipping empire. Lorgar's cults, Erebus's games, even the Emperor's own use of the war. All were cracks in the hull, and the Interrex, with their clarity and knowledge, saw it coming. But the Imperium couldn't hear them, wouldn't hear them. They were too loud, too righteous, too wrapped in their own divine narrative. The Interrex were warning the Imperium, not accusing it, but warning sound a lot like heresy to a war machine that sees only loyalty or rebellion. And so what could have been an alliance became a misunderstanding, a theft, a war, and eventually extinction. The Interrex understood chaos not just as a threat, but as a consequence, a kind of cosmic karma for arrogance, aggression, and unchecked ambition. And if you ask me, they weren't just warning the Imperium, they were trying to save it from itself.
Right. But in the end, they got wiped out by the Imperium.
Get triple anti-dandruff power. Super.
The possibility. Okay.
If the Interrex
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look on that last part because we got a match coming up. But interesting information. I mean, Warhammer 40K is a very, very expensive lore. Like it composed of around 500 books or something, 565, something like that. Okay, but anyway, let's just go with this one. Balin. Okay, one was using electric shocks. Well, that's good on a one-on-one fight, but not very great with your yeah, if you're I don't know. Oh, okay. Wow. You know, that kind of gives me an idea. I mean, yeah, there we go.
At 30%.
God dang it. Yeah, that's the problem with these ones. I sometimes kind of trigger some button commands that we're not supposed to trigger, like that speed. I was supposed to fire an earshot cannon with that. Okay, but we're kind of far from the battlefield with this. Yeah, pretty sure. Alright.
50%.
Yeah. Okay, we got that. So, needed any help, guys? Yeah, this one's almost finished as well. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Well, the two have already respawned, so they're probably out here somewhere. Okay, well, yep, pretty much they're back. Yeah, I got hit on that part. Okay. Yeah. I kinda got hit with that thing. Alright. Nice, nice. And Okay, so I guess yeah, we're gonna wait for another next round with this.
Had somehow managed to beat the Imperium in a full-scale war, which would be a staggering feat considering the sheer size and momentum of the Great Crusade. The galaxy would look like a very different place, and not just in aesthetics or governance, but in its very philosophical and metaphysical fabric. The Interrex wouldn't have just replaced one tyrannical empire with another. They would have redefined what it meant to be human among the stars. First off, the conquest wouldn't have looked like a traditional war of annihilation. The Interrex didn't operate like that. They were surgical, strategic, focused not on overwhelming force but on containment, understanding and rehabilitation. If they had brought down the Imperium, it wouldn't have been with planet-killing exterminatus or mass enslavement. It would have been through disarmament, exposure of corrupt tech and ideology, and isolation of unstable elements. It would be like if the Renaissance had invaded the Middle Ages and won. The Emperor himself would have been a central factor. If he had been captured or negotiated with under duress, the Interrex may have tried to integrate him, not kill him. They understood power structure and myth. Maybe they would have unmasked him, turned him from a god king into a contained force, a misunderstood psychic relic of the past. Without the Imperium's unrelenting crusade of compliance, countless worlds would have developed independently.
Yeah, that's also one reason I think lore-wise on why the Emperor of Mankind did not show up until the societal collapse of mankind, because I think based on the lore, mankind would just blow him away during the dark age of technology. I mean, mankind was so overpowered that even the Emperor of Mankind would have doubts in showing itself. So that's how advanced mankind was, at least lore-wise on that story universe. I'm not a fan of Warhammer 40k, but I do understand bits of you know, bits and pieces of important lore information. Yeah, pretty much there. Okay. Alright, good, let's get the night that. Pretty sure someone's... Yeah, I was pretty much sure that someone was following me, so I had to, you know, use that to incapacitate me. Okay, there we go, that gets rid of one. Okay, we got another one. Okay, there we go. It must be somewhere. Yeah, someone's following me. Oh, crap. Okay. There we go. Yep, on that direction.
At 30%.
Yeah, somebody shot me at the back with that one. not gonna work.
HP at 50%.
Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Okay, let's continue on with this.
Instead of being
Interrex Empire.
steamrolled into a rigid monoculture, human and Xeno civilizations alike would have found place under the Interrex umbrella, provided they could live in peace and maintain ethical boundaries around warp use and technology. The galaxy wouldn't be unified in the Imperium sense of the word, but it might have been genuinely collaborative, diverse, alive. You would see human, alien cities where knowledge was traded freely and art flourished alongside philosophy. Technologically, the stagnation of the Imperium would have never taken hold. The Interrex maintained and improved upon Dark Age technology. Imagine a galaxy where scientific progress never stopped, where STCs weren't relics but were updated regularly. A world where AIs were not feared as abominable intelligences but built with ethical constraints and shared openly, where titans didn't need incense and hymns to operate, but precise calibration and shared operational training. The ecclesiarchy.
By drawing daily sketches, you can develop discipline, improve your skills, and foster new ideas. It serves to relieve stress, represent a feeling.
Right.
Never formed. The Mechanicus dismantled or reformed beyond recognition. Instead, you would have a priesthood of ethics, historians and technologists who didn't worship machines but engaged in constant dialogue about how to use them responsibly. Warp travel would still be necessary, but the Interrex would prioritize safe routes, psychic training, and psychic dampening tech to mitigate risks. Librarians and astropaths might still exist, but they would be monitored not as divine prophets, but as psychological and philosophical stewards. And what about Chaos? Well, this is where it gets weird, because if the Interrex had actually won, Chaos might have been held at bay, not through denial, but through understanding. The Interrex didn't treat the warp as a mystery or a gift, but as a threat to be managed and studied. Imagine a galaxy with entire institutes dedicated to warp pathology, where demonic incursions are predicted with models and countered with harmonic technology. Maybe the Horus heresy never happens. Maybe Horus himself becomes a scholar warrior under Interrex tutelage, not a corrupt warlord. The big difference is tone. The Warhammer 40,000 galaxy is fundamentally about despair, decay, and eternal war.
Yeah.
If the Interrex had won, it might have been about tension, caution, and intellectual struggle. Still grim, but not hopeless. There would still be wars, still threats, but the underlying vibe would shift from tragic futility to precarious equilibrium. The galaxy wouldn't be ruled by fear. It would be guided by responsibility. Of course, not everyone would go along. There would be rebels, extremists, warlords clinging to the old ways. Maybe even fragments of the Imperium that resist and become something like spaceborne inquisitorial crusaders. Fanatics who scream about the false peace of the Interrex. The Interrex would be constantly fighting to maintain the balance, suppressing rising warp cults, managing alien diplomacy, and resist the temptation to become tyrants themselves. But they would do it with eyes open, not hidden behind dogma. So, in the end, if the Interrex had beaten the Imperium, the galaxy wouldn't be perfect, but it would be alive, curious, complex, maybe even a little beautiful. And that's probably why
I don't think
it could never
beaten, but
happen.
more like an alliance.
If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like and subscribe to my channel with
like
the notifications on so you wouldn't miss my latest upload, and help me reach 100.
I don't think the Interrex will defeat the Imperium, but it could be that I have some sort of an alliance, just like the Priest Tech or something. Tau Empire, Utopia or Lie? I don't think that Tau Empire is a utopia. It has its own share of problems. I mean, at least in lore on Warhammer. Okay, Urban Fantasy. Oh, okay, Urban Fantasy. I think the first taste that I got that Urban Fantasy was actually from Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, Human Penguin Mask. That's That's kind of a weird name. Magnolia, Unique, Camera, and Balin. Very light armage, except for the tank guys. I mean for that tank one. Except for Magnolia. Right, okay. Alright, let's just detonate this one for this side. Yeah, we're just gonna spam. Yeah, that's a good entrance anyway. Oh, crap. Okay, got destroyed in that. Da 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 da. Okay, we got that one. Okay, got him. Got him as well again. Yeah, the guy keeps charging on his you know, those energy gun things. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I should have known someone was around that. Okay, we'll try a different weapon with this. At least a different one. Da-da. Ta-da! We could try this one. It does have its own thing, but I don't know. It's a little bit weak, I'll be honest. This one, it's okay, but the problem is 62. Okay, machine gun developed by our essential team. Okay, but we'll try. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, where was I? Yeah, just to kill time, we'll just go take a look on our YouTube feeds with this one. Urban Fantasy. Terrible writing advice.
In modern world, we have to very carefully set up one thing.
Oh, wait. Yeah. That was my mistake. I kind of pressed the number.
Do you want to make a fantasy world, but are too lazy to build a detailed fantasy setting? Then urban fantasy is the genre for you. Yes, with urban fantasy, we already have a pre-built world ready to go. All we have to do is add magic and bam, instant urban fantasy. It's that easy. Let's get started. Now, given that magic is added into our complex and technologically interconnected modern world, we have to very carefully set up one thing before we work on any other aspect of our story. The love triangle. Yes, the love triangle is the absolute most critical component of any urban fantasy story and will drive world building. Now, the biggest decision we have to make is what type of supernatural being our male romantic leads will be. Now, despite them being undead abominations and nocturnal creatures of evil, vampires should be our first choice.
You know, they were kind of referring to that,
death and decadence,
you know, that
cross
love
between
thing,
a decaying corpse and a corrupt aristocrat. They are a rotting
Twilight.
cadaver and a blood-sucking parasite, which of course makes them the perfect romantic interest. Rather than a creature of eternal death, let's make our vampires beautiful. Be sure to give them rock-hard abs despite their undead nature rendering them unable to generate new muscle mass. Be sure they keep their predatory nature and thirst for blood. It gives them a great excuse to angst over their desires to savagely murder the protagonist who, of course, they are in love with. Because I know I always struggle to not fall in love with my food. Also, be certain to give our vampires all kinds of awesome powers like incredible speed, super strength, and heightened senses while also removing all of their weaknesses like sunlight and food seasonings. Just don't bother to address why vampires haven't taken over despite their obviously superior nature. A world ruled by vampires where humans are oppressed into chattel slavery sounds utterly boring. Who would read that? If vampires are not your thing, then we can always use werewolves instead. Unlike the ethereally beautiful vampires, werewolves are gruff with a masculine edge.
Okay, right. Yeah, definitely he's criticizing Twilight. But Twilight did bring a lot of you know, money-wise on income. Da 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 da. Okay, so we got some guys who have earshots on both of their back weapon. Nice. Yeah, definitely not bad, I think. I think it's a really bad idea. Right. It didn't last long enough. I was getting staggered on that. Okay, where's everybody with these? Yeah, I think that was a poor weapon choice to switch that up from a machine gun. Probably have to be better off switching it with a grenade launcher or something rather than a machine gun or something. Yeah. Definitely not definitely not my thing. Oh my goodness. go. Ah, crap. There we go. Nice, nice. That was a quick match, but I have to change my weapon. It doesn't exactly match the thing on that. Okay, assembly. We probably have to change this, obviously. I probably have to go to Dizzy. Maybe Dizzy was 1600. That's the most powerful when it comes to land type. So we'll just go change this. I don't know, maybe we could go for missiles or something. Needle missile launcher is expected by Elacano. Fires stike-shaped projectiles at high velocity that bore through the target's armor. These are non-explosive missiles that rely on raw physical power. Would have been nice, but the problem with this is recoil. But very fast. Definitely very fast. Could I do a little bit of I think we could use this one. They're not really that heavy, so we could just change it. Yeah, maybe we could just change it, swap it a little bit of
yeah, but you have to stop before firing them, huh?
Yeah, that's also yeah, that's also what I was thinking, chat. Oh yeah, thank you for dropping by, chat. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a lot of things I have to think about. Well, okay, let's just go try to change a little bit of that configuration thing. Yeah, we'll just go put this one. Oh, I'm surprised we're still not, well, okay, yeah, kind of surprising that I still have not been overweight with that. Yeah, okay, we'll just go hang out with that.
You're welcome, Ha. Glad to hang out again.
Yep, same here. Cheers. Okay, arms. Yeah, this is the thing that I have to... Okay, we could go with the old Melander. Still Balin.
And thank you for the stream, HA.
Yep. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we kind of shaved off our armor for 200 AP points, but that's okay. I think that's doable. So I just made some changes. Probably the machine gun thing and the grenade launcher thing. But I'm not sure if this will be very I'm not quite certain if this will be mobile or something. Anyway, yeah, let's just go with our scripting, script writing lectures.
However, just like vampires, the hunky werewolf must struggle with his true nature to avoid savagely maiming the heroine into bloody viscera. How romantic!
Okay.
Now, just like with vampires, we should remove all drawbacks to being a werewolf, as well as get rid of any weaknesses. No need to address that our werewolf would, actually smell like a wolf. However, the most important thing to remember when adding werewolf characters is to never actually read up on wolf physiology and behavior and completely ignore complex pack social dynamics. After all, this is an escapist romantic fantasy, not a biology lesson. Now, if we can't decide between werewolves or vampires, then that's fine. We just add both. But does a story really need a love triangle? Of Of course not, when we can have a love dodecahedron. Not only can we have a vampire and werewolf competing for the affection of the protagonist, but we can also have a normal bad boy alpha male, a hunky wizard, a handsome billionaire who peddles in the occult, a buff government operative, a ripped local detective, an archangel, an incubus, and the list goes on until the protagonist's life is filled with a harem of attractive women. With an army of models pining over our protagonist, we can now detail our main character. This is actually super easy. Just copy our protagonist from the dystopian setting and dress her in leather. Make her a teenage girl with ordinary looks and no discernible personality, but is still inexplicably the setting's chosen one. Rather than local law enforcement, experienced occult societies, or government authorities dealing with the supernatural elements of the setting, it's up to a single teenager to protect the world. Of course, don't address that most people won't even trust a team with a car, much less shouldering the fate of the world. But she can handle it with her vast array of special powers that are vague enough to resolve the plot and break out of whatever corner you write yourself into. Speaking of powers, make sure this is the only way to deal with the supernatural elements of the setting. Have firearms and all forms of modern military weapons be completely useless in stopping our paranormal foes. This is necessary. Otherwise, normal people might resolve the plot and we would miss an opportunity to show off how special our protagonist is. Make sure she uses her powers to resolve obstacles, even if this requires our protagonist to appear stupid for not using far more convenient modern technology instead. Also, be certain to ensure all of our setting's magical elements are kept secret from normal people, no matter how much this doesn't make sense. Having a modern world where magic is widely available to the public will require way too much world building, and every page not dedicated to a werewolf-vampire love triangle is a waste of words. Now, I haven't mentioned villains for urban fantasy, because they're barely needed. Just shoehorn them in the last few chapters. No need to put a lot of thought into them when we should instead keep our focus on resolving the love triangle. Just have our protagonist wipe out the villains as an afterthought, then put even less effort into tying up their romantic loose ends. Easy! Now, some of you may say what I have just described is not the genre of urban fantasy, but paranormal romance, and that many urban fantasy novels do detail their settings and magic systems. So go ahead and indulge in world building at the cost of romance,
interviews and
unless you want to make
behind the scenes
money.
of Twilight, Robert Pattinson, the actor for the vampire Edward, heavily dislikes the book and movie. He finds it creepy and stalkerish.
Yeah, that's kind of ironic. I mean, the actor kind of dislikes the main plot, but still plays to try to still play that role. I guess he was too how do you call it? He was too ambitious not to realize that he disliked the character he's playing with. But it did make him popular. That's the thing. Okay, let's just check. We're still waiting for the next match. Oh, a cute cat. Wow, there is a cute cat. Yeah, nothing really much going on YouTube nowadays. Oh wait, yeah, I could just go hang out with those terrible writing advice. Steampunk. Okay, let's try steampunk. I think.
Hey, what's up, guys? I found this beer left over from some campers, and I'm totally wasted.
Have you guys seen this vlogging Yeti online? I'm gonna teach you how.
Okay, terrible writing advice. How to criticize and how to write films.
All aboard the steampunk train. Destination, fame, and fortune. Steampunk has yet to have a true breakout success, but that simply means that there's a vacuum for the opportunistic writer to fill.
I think this is the opposite of cyberpunk, which is futuristic. This
steampunk is great to write,
kind of refers to technology around the
and play dress up with our characters and setting. As a visual aesthetic for our world, steampunk is a great way to flavor a setting and can open the vast possibilities of human imagination, ingenuity, inventiveness, and other words that start with I. Now just let me put on my steampunk goggles, and there! Now we are ready for a deep dive into the steampunk genre. Now the first thing we should start with in our steampunk setting is the plot, and more importantly, the characters. We should put a lot of effort to characterize it. Oh wow, that steam engine sure looks cool! It wouldn't be steampunk without the steam. One surefire way to let the audience know that this is indeed a steampunk setting is by sticking hissing steam valves everywhere. Steam-powered engines, steam-powered ships, steam-powered airships, steam-powered rifles, steam-powered zombies, steam-powered robots, steam-powered top hats, steam-powered steam. In addition to hissing steam valves, we also need lots of cogs and gears. Just haphazardly paste those on everything. Who cares if they serve no function as long as they look cool? Not too many gears though. Otherwise the story turns into plot
video game that
Now the
has
central
that.
conceit of steampunk
I'm not
is
sure
why
if that was
technology never
BioWare or
advanced beyond
Bioshock.
steam.
It's more like
Apparently
that.
big steam keeps the poor defenseless oil companies down. Who will stick up for the little guy? Can't let our tech be fueled up by oil, otherwise the story turns into diesel punk. Or just don't bother to justify the tech at all. Internal combustion? Preposterous. You can't power things with explosions. I'm sure lugging around that huge boiler to power steampunk gear won't get heavy, and that wood and coal will easily scale to fuel ever-growing industry and infrastructure. I guess we could say that everything is fueled by some kind of miracle substance. I'll call it contrivium. This special substance can cover any plot hole no matter how large and exempts the writer from all research. It might as well be magical technology. But not too much magic tech, otherwise the story turns into gaslight fantasy. Wait a minute, wasn't I working on something else important? Oh yes, characters. I almost forgot to focus on creating believable, engaging, and wonderful characters to really hook the audience into the story. I should really dig into how the divergent technology of the setting would affect society and how that would shape a character's— oh wait, I should set the story in the Victorian age. We can dress our characters up in cool Victorian dresses and suits and then tack on some steampunk gear, just like all those amazing cosplayers at the conventions. Don't forget the goggles, those are essential. A monocle is a viable alternative, but not for the main character. In fiction, only snobbish rich dudes and evil military officers wear monocles. Now that we have dressed up our characters, we can finally work on fleshing them out. It is really important that we give them a variety of character traits that fit with—
Okay. We'll just continue that because we got a match coming up. It took the match for a while, but yeah, like I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's just test our new weapons. Same guy, Dark Side Tune, and I don't know the two others on that one. I think Ori is— yep, definitely an old timer, Ori. Of course, that's me, and one other guy. Yep. Yep, that's one good thing about that. Yeah, I'm kind of a bit slow with this kind of configuration. I guess there's something having a bazooka for a grenade. Having a grenade launcher as an arm weapon does slow down my thing, because for some reason the IC has to position itself. Yeah, definitely I'm kind of slow with this. Or I can't dodge because of that. Right. Yeah, I think that it does work, but mobility wise my configuration isn't exactly suitable. Oh, okay, what was that? Ah, sorry. Okay, speed. Ah, crap.
I can never really get used to new loadouts. Always press the wrong triggers.
Yeah, that's also one thing. Definitely I agree on that, Chad. Same thing on mine. I got a new loadout, and I don't know. I find my IC a bit sluggish. At the same time, well, I kind of put it on a back weapon instead of, instead of that bazooka being a back weapon, I kind of put it now on an arm weapon. But yeah, it does work. But I'm kind of sluggish and slow. It doesn't give mobility. So I had just to stop and just to fire on that. Okay, we'll just give it another round and see if I could somehow improvise on that new loadouts. But well, it does work though. It's just that I'm a bit slow with that new loadout, chat. So yeah. Okay, so one more round and let's see. Oh, okay. I'm low on battery. Yep. Actually, that kind of loadout is not suitable for single player, you know, single player matches. I'm definitely very slow on that, and I mean that kind of this kind of loadout is definitely has mobility issues. So yeah, I'm gonna get peppered with that. Pretty sure with that. Okay, so let's just try this one on the single player. I'm pretty sure that's how it will turn out. I mean, at least on this kind of loadout, because single player matches require a lot of mobility. So anything that will stop you or your own momentum.
Maybe a compact bazooka, lol.
Oh yeah, that could work, but I'm not sure. It's still. Well, I could try that, but the problem with that compact bazooka is that the damage, its DPS, the damage it will inflict, it's not as massive as you know, the big bazooka thing. But that's kind of interesting, yeah. Okay, let's see how effective this one. But I'm pretty sure mobility will be a big issue on my side here. Especially if you're going on to toe-to-toe on one-on-one. See? Yeah, the only good thing about this weapon is that it explodes mid-air. So in other words, if he's flying, like that one, it will definitely knock the crap out of him. But mobility-wise, it kinda is an issue. Well, what do you know? I kinda won. Maybe it's something about the blast radius. I didn't directly hit the guy, but he did got caught with the blast. Or at least the area of the blast. That's one good thing about this weapon, the DZ weapon. If you, oh crap! Yeah, kind of pressed that wrong button again. If you can't hit him mid-air, or at least directly, the blast will take care of it. Or the blast will take care of it. But mobility issues, see? Kind of hit him in some ways. Didn't do damage with him, but it did make him stagger. Or at least he staggered me, dude. Oh, right.
At 30%.
Yeah, that hit him. Yeah, I guess this is the main, you know, the main selling point of the that weapon. It blows up mid-air. Compared to say the earshot bazooka or any other bazookas, they don't blow up if you're aiming up. They only blow up if you're aiming down. Well, lucky for me, this opponent of mine is not exactly the close range fighter. You can see he's already running around all over the map. Although he uses a melee weapon like a sword, he does not directly engage with it. Or he does not directly engage me with the...
AP at 30%.
Yep, okay, that was foreseeable. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Maybe I could change one. Let's change the back weapon. Or we could change this one to a more compact one. If compactability in white, I kinda recommend this one, little gem. Problem with this, it doesn't go big boom compared to any other bazookas, but it does let you keep your heavy armor thing. You know, your armor configurations. Probably back weapon will probably have to go. We'll have to change that. Wait. Yeah, I could go with this one, the plasma. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine with me. But this one, I think the selling point of this mobile bazooka is that it's more accurate compared to any other bazookas. Although the blast is kinda like meh. It doesn't explode, but accuracy wise it's more accurate, plus providing the same stagger thing, or stagger what do you call that? That stagger stopping stagger power or something like that. And one drawback also of this one is that it only the damage of this is just only around 800 points, so not great. Right. Yeah, but it is quite accurate. You can always aim it on something. See? Oh, crap. Yeah, I kind of forgot I'm not... yeah, got hit on that. But still, mobility is still an issue with this one because, yeah, that's the thing about having a bazooka weapon. You have to stop for at least a microsecond. Oh, crap. Crap. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of... So, yeah, I think best advice if, you know, if you're doing some configurations on the AC, you have to keep your mobility as much as possible. That's gonna be a big issue with, you know, single player fights. Okay, let's try the weird stuff. I kind of saw one player using some sort of electrical thing. You know, the electrical shock thing. So we'll probably have to let's replace that with yeah, I know this one is kind of laughable because it's about 104 when it comes to damage. Even I myself did kind of find it laughable, but sorry. But it does have some sort of what do you call this? If I'm not mistaken, it does stop the opponent, or it has a stagger, you know, it has a stagger perk thing. But anyway, we're just testing it if it's good on an actual, you know, good on an actual single one-on-one matches. Okay, where was that earshot? I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around here. Oh, okay, there we go. Yep. Wait. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're good with this one. So let's try. Okay, so there we go. That's yeah, we're gonna test this weapon, see how it measures up. Okay. Oh, okay. So I guess this guy is a very close. You know, fights at very close range. He has a dual Zimmerman. Hopefully, it's yeah, that could provide us enough opportunity how to test if this taser weapon or shock weapon does you know, stagger that. You know, that if it could stagger your opponents. Yeah, honestly, I can't really see if there's anything with this one. Okay, so far so good. It does its job though. Okay. Well, we did win. So, okay, there we go. Let's see on our second phase of our... Well, the good thing about this one is that it provides mobility. It doesn't stop your, you know, your AC from being mobile. Although, the weapon isn't exactly that bright.
At 30%.
But we... Yeah, for some reason we kind of won with that. Okay, so I guess not bad. Okay, not bad, considering that what we got is actually an enlarged version of a taser weapon. And it has more accuracy, if I'm not mistaken, because since it's a type of energy weapon, not the ballistic type. Oh, great. Right. My mistake on that. So let's do another single one, testing out this. Maybe I could shift this one as an alternate from the shotgun or the Zimmerman. Okay, nice. Okay, we got that Momoy. Oh, okay. From the looks of it, this one's a runner in or more like a runner or a kite type. Definitely not fighting at close range because it uses missiles. Okay, this will be a challenge, I guess. Yeah, guy he's starting to fly, so okay. Yeah, definitely that they kind of hit us with that kind of stuff, stagger stuff.
50%.
Yeah, definitely a flying guy. Yeah, like I said, it's a type of AC that does not engage in close combat, given on her on its weapon loadout. Damn it. Yeah, okay.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Yeah, we lost on that. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Not exactly the type of AC that engages in close quarter. I'm pretty sure on that. Let's just wait. Okay, so I guess this will be our not exactly last hangout on on the single match. We'll probably have to return to the team matchups. Okay, Rag Rush. Oh, okay. Well, he does use some sort of energy shotgun type. Or something like that. Yeah, I think that was something she would mind. Yep, okay, definitely that kind of hit me.
I think the Millimeters core stems from the earlier AC games. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that also makes me think, yeah. The Melander core on AC6 kind of reminisce of old gen types of AC cores. I mean, if you've been playing Armor Core 1 to 3rd gen, it's pretty similar. It's like blocky tank type of appearance. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree on that as well. Chat, I think it's pretty cool as well. I mean, it does exactly well. Well, all Gen AC cores are, you know, they have some sort of tube sticking out from this one, but on the Melander type of you know cores, it's the tube is kind of like cut off or something. But if you take a look on all angles, it does looks more like the it looks like a tank top from modern day tanks, at least from what I'm looking. The turret block from a modern day tank. That's how I look at it. I mean, even on old Gen ACs, like Gen 1, Gen 3, they have some sort of blocky core. Yeah, that's what I think about it. But if you kind of notice, chat, some other configurations here on Armored Core 6, the ACs kind of look more like insect-like. They have very long protruding frames, or sleek sleek AC cores or something. Just only on my observation, aesthetic-wise. Game-wise,
yeah, kind of like the Hull HA.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, chat. That's true. So yeah, I'm kind of spinning around my AC here. If you think about it, the hull itself is tank-like. I mean, even if you look at it on the back side, top side, yeah, definitely it looks like a tank turret. Bottom side, yeah, definitely like a tank. For me, game-wise, I kinda use this one because of armor. You know, you're kinda protected on the armor, but not at the same time not sacrificing the mobility. It's not as mobile as other ACs, but definitely a lot more. You know, kinda gives me a lot of you know, mobility room. Just to dodge some bullets or something. And at the same time, if I can't dodge it, at least it has you can see here the AP is almost yeah, it's almost 11,740. So yeah, pretty much an adequate protection. It's not as heavily protected like the ones on the tank ACs or heavily armored ACs, but this armor is sufficient enough to at least make you last in the battle. At least take out at least, I don't know, maybe a few.
It seems that both Balam and Arquebus favors a certain style.
Yeah.
Balam favors heavier armor and heavier firepower, while Arquebus favors mobility and energy weapons.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, I never realized about that. Yeah, maybe the aesthetics lore-wise on their corporations. Yeah, and on hindsight, yeah, that kind of gave me an idea. Arquebus always uses some sort of energy weapons, compared to Balaam, which uses the, you know, heavy, more on ballistics type of weapon. In other words, they're yeah, they kind of have a bullet. Arquebus mostly uses you know, lasers and energy weapons. Yeah, yeah, that was a really interesting thing. At the same time, aesthetic-wise, other factions here in Armored Core 6, like the, you know, that computer thing, I kind of forgot the name. All Mind, yeah, All Mind. If you take a look at it aesthetically, also, All Mind also uses energy weapons, but aesthetic-wise, they have a very low armor, and their designs look more like an insect. Yeah, they look more like an anthropod or something. Actually, if you take a look, there's only two present corporations in Armored Core 6, Balaam and Arquebus. It doesn't mention other, you know, other corporations on the scene as well. Or at least there are other corporations, but they were just only mentioned as AC parts, but they don't exactly participate in the story itself. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're still waiting for the match. Anyway, this is not a surprise because it's already almost midnight, so I guess folks on the Japanese servers are already probably sleeping, I guess. I mean, it's early in the morning in their local time. Okay, let me just check on with my YouTube feeds here. Right, pretty much it's a dead place when it comes to yeah, I guess this is the dead hours of flying armored core. Midnight until I guess the rest of the day. It only gets lively at around 7 p.m. 7 and up until midnight, I mean.
I guess there is Dafeng and Schneider too. But they're just Valum and Arquebus subsidiaries and associates, haha.
Yeah, if you take even a look at it, chat, Dafeng and Schneider might be even just some dummy companies by story-wise by Arquebus and Balaam. They're not exactly a real company in the sense, but maybe just only in name. But the offices, just saying, of course, on the lore of Armored Core 6, they might be just dummy shell corporations. You know, they have the same. How do we define dummy shell corporations? I mean, there's a lot of you know, real world references on how dummy shell corporations work. I mean, they're carried a different name as a company legal wise, but if you take a look on their resources, even their office, they kind of share the same from their parent company. I think that's what Dafeng and Schneider is, at least story-wise.
Maybe they're playing Mecha Break Ha since it just came out.
Yeah, I think most Armored Core players might be going there. Well, speaking of which, yeah, that makes me think. Mecha Break, for me, I think Mecha Break is a good IC game, but the thing that kind of gives me the red flags on that is that, you know, the pay-to-win system. They have these microtransaction things. Never like those kinds of, you know, those kinds of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mecha Break has a lot of potential, but game-wise, as a business model, I don't think, you know, their model of, you know, microtransactions is not exactly my kind of, you know, my kind of taste for as a gamer. Okay, there we go. I don't know, it just never really works out. I'm not saying that I'm still open to microtransactions, but idea of microtransactions, but the whole thing, it kind of blurs the line from gaming to gambling. Just saying. So I don't any game for me that has that kind of stuff, I kind of find it repulsive. Oh, okay, sorry, I was distracted on that. But one good thing about Mecha Break, if you think about it aesthetic-wise, they kind of have a lot of girls in there with skimpy, you know, tight suits, which doesn't make any sense because I don't know. Pilot mecha suits is supposed to be some sort of loose garb clothing. Or maybe they just kind of got the idea from, you know, one mecha anime called Evangelion. But, yeah. Okay, there we go. Oh, right. Yeah, I think maybe most players are going on or shifting to Mecha Break. But for me, I don't know. Mecha Break's a big icky subject for me because of there's microtransactions. Plus, I think the grinding thing. There's
in terms of pay to win, though, V2-Snail seems to be that according to the arena files, haha.
Yeah, the guy with the golden spoon. Yeah, V2-Snail, how do you call that personality? He's kind of like the snobbish rich boy kid. You know, the guy who doesn't really, you know, he has some sort of ego superiority complex issues. Like everybody, he thinks like everybody is below him or something like that. Not exactly the type of person who, oh well, how do you call that? Yeah, not exactly the type of person who does a lot of grinding. Maybe, yeah, he does a lot of grinding, but it's not exactly him who's doing the grinding, but his wallet. If I'm not mistaken, VTuber-style is basically, you know, the snob character. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy who kind of fired that stun gun to capture the main character of this game, and even Walter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's VTuber-style. But anyway, I don't really recognize much of the characters in Armored Core 6. That you just only kind of recognize them in audio, but they don't really have any physical descriptions.
I wager that Snail may have been looked down on for the majority of his life though, ha.
Yeah, exactly the same conclusion that I also have, chat. But pretty much from the way he behaves, he's kind of like the rich boy kid you see from exclusive schools. If you're say if you're a student, say a high school student or even a grade school student, you could pretty much see Snail during his early years as this snob kid that came from that kind of school. You know, in education system, if you're a student, there's 3 types. There's the public, there's the private school, and there's the exclusive private school. And Snail is definitely, I am pretty sure Snail came from that private exclusive school kind of thing. Although, dystopia-wise, we don't really know exactly the system of society on Armored Core 6, how it functions. But what we do know about Armored Core 6, at least based on some snippets or a few lores, there is a central government in Armored Core 6. Remember the PCI, the Planetary Closure Administration. So it's not exactly a corporation, but more like a government body that enhances that supervises frontier colonies. So yeah, if that is just only a small fraction,
he's like the popular high school girl, haha.
Yeah, definitely. If this was an all girl school, I'm pretty sure Snail is definitely. I mean, I kind of saw girls like that. I mean, they're the kind of girls who always put up a makeup and also dresses westernized, something like that. Definitely, Snail is the male version of that. Okay, so we're still running up with the old guys on our match, Magnolia and Ore. Definitely regular guys. Nice. So we got light armored guys, Rusty Nail, Grok, and P180P. Huh. Okay, anyway, let's start. Crap.
At 30%.
Yep, I got a bullet on my face. That didn't end well for me. crap. Yep, there we go.
In terms of pilots, some STD stage data files actually bears the real appearances of the pilots, though some more important members however have their faces blurred by visual corruption.
Yeah, I guess that's the aesthetic wise of Armored Core 6. They don't really want to reveal the main face of the those main characters in Armored Core 6. But they kind of give up a few details. One such example is Walter. Based on the trailer, he's kind of like having a bad leg, if I'm not mistaken. On the trailer of Armored Core 6, you could see Walter walking with a cane or some sort of walking aid of some kind, which is in the form of a stick. At least the shadow markings. It's not directly, Walter is not directly shown, but pretty much you could say that Walter may have some sort of injury. What else? I'm pretty sure there's also a lot of reference on the, or at least hints on how the characters are in Armored Core 6. Oh yeah, also the main character, 621, something like that. I'm pretty sure based on the description that the main character in Armored Core 6 has some sort of speech problem or something that is related to his brain that affects his speech. That's why if you can see mission debriefings, the main character here is kind of silent. It's not because he's more like has a stoic personality. It's probably because of some sort of disability he might from augmentations, I guess. And even on the first introduction of the game, Walter even says that 621 has some sort of fried brain or something like that, half a brain. Not exactly, it affects intelligence, but something to his physical, physical description. And also, there's also one thing. There's also some.
It's interesting though, because Carla is confirmed to be about 70 years old.
Yeah.
But she hasn't physically aged, most likely from the coral during the fires of Ibis.
Yeah, that's also one of my suspicions as well, chat. You're not the only one with that. I mean, that's the rough age of 70, but we may take at least some consideration, because I think Carla might have some sort of augmentation or some sort of cybernetics, which of course refers to that coral thing. I mean, coral, story-wise here in Armored Core 6 greatly extends at least the lifespan of a human. But I'm not exactly sure how coral is as well, on how its exact composition. I mean, it does. We do know coral has some sort of medical purposes, like cybernetics. Even 621, I think, has one. The main character. So yeah, it's also used as just for technology, like how ACs are powered even on their weapons. Well, definitely Carla is 70 years old, but on the way she sounds, she looks more like a character who's in her 40s, or maybe even, well, 40s. I mean, even 50-year-old ladies don't really sound like that, or doesn't sound like Carla. More like a 30. Carla says more like a 30-year-old to 40-year-old lady there, and she's definitely around at least when the fires of Ibis happened. I think it was stated lore-wise that I'm not sure if it's disconfirmed, that kind of information, that Carla was some sort of an assistant on the Rubicon Research Institute or something like that when the fires of Ibis happened, along with Walter. But if you take a look at it, they call it fires of Ibis, but if you kind of take a look on how that disaster happened, it looks more like a huge mega solar flare happened in Armored Core 6, or more like some sort of well, I can't really say supernova because the star didn't exactly explode. Yeah, pretty much that's what happened in Armored Core 6. Some sort of the fires of Hades looks more like a big ass solar flare that wiped it out and tortured almost practically all life on the planet. There's also lore that says that you know,
yeah,
Iron.
LOL. Which is why Carla's ironic nickname is Cinder, because people simply don't believe her when she says that she is due to her supposed age hop.
Yeah, I agree on that. Definitely. I mean, who would have believed? I mean, if she's around at least during the fires of Ivy, she must have been an old hag by now. And it's only rumored that at least she is 70 years old. Who knows? She might be even older, like maybe 100 years old, I guess. Oh, right.
50% AP.
Right.
30%.
You know, there's also one thing about this coral thing, substance in Armored Core 6. There's other conflicting lores about coral. Some say it's more like some sort of data conduit or something, and it kind of traps human souls. Yeah, something like that. Or at least the victims of fires of Ibis. Yeah, their physical bodies got torched, but their souls kind of got trapped in, you know, on that coral substance. Like, for example, iron. I'm not sure if that is confirmed, of course. If I was formerly a human. I mean, from the way she was introduced in Armored Core 6, I was under the impression that he was a living gasoline. But there's other, you know, information that says that Ire was actually supposedly human before the fires of Ibis happened. And she got burned down as well. One of the victims of that cataclysm in Armored Core 6. That's what I was thinking. But also, that's one thing. Cinder, Carla also directly, you know, she has a direct association with Walter, so that also leaves that Walter might be somewhere around. I don't know. Maybe Walter might be also around 70 years old, at least at that time. But in Armored Core 6, age isn't exactly portrayed accurately. There's also one guy, one minor character. You know, the leader of that cult worshipping coral thing. Father Daedalus or something like that. Yeah, he's also around 90 years old. I'm not sure if he uses coral as well as for augmentations.
It also brings more depth to her first dialogue with Walter being long time no see.
Yeah.
Since Walter seems to have not been on Rubicon since the fires. But Walter now has a cane, and Carla hasn't aged.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of backstory in Armored Core 6 that's not really kind of fleshed out, but you know, the relationship of Carla and Walter seems to be more like the professional one. Maybe they kind of work it on the same laboratory or something like that, or somewhere around the past. And also, yeah, Walter, he has some sort of, like I mentioned earlier, he has some sort of cane or something. So, yeah, I don't know what's the deal with Walter, but he's probably might have got it or some sort of injury, might be. Just saying, of course, just saying. Yeah, also, yeah, that makes me think. Well, I'm not exactly sure. Walter didn't exactly mention he was there when fires of Ibis happened. He's kind of like just, I mean, story-wise, saying on Armored Core 6, he's kind of just carrying out some will of an old friend. I mean, at least from what I'm, when I finish the story, the campaigns of Armored Core 6, he's just basically carrying out an old wish. It's not directly his wish, but some wish from some guy probably he knew in the past. And Carla also shares the same kind of objective. Yeah, I think Walter is more like they Carla and Walter share the same objective of wiping out Coral from ever existing. Yeah, they definitely never liked it, Coral. Those guys. And also, there's also one thing on the story about Armored Core 6. Yeah, about that Coral thing. I don't think personally that Coral is a good thing to be released. I mean, at least story-wise. But yeah, that's I guess it's up to the writers or script writers of Armored Core 6 to let it.
Yet Walter was sent away to Jupiter by Nagai before the fires, which is why he was outside of the PCA's closure of Rubicon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not know about that detail as well. Okay, so yeah, yeah, I guess that's supposed that makes sense on why Walter's motivation trying to wipe out desperately the Coral. But imagine if Walter wasn't there, at least Walter should be around at least 50 years old, because story-wise it says that the fires of Rubicon happened nearly half a century. So if let's just say that Walter was just a toddler, like a baby, and couldn't barely remember everything, I'm pretty sure he's around at least 50 years old when the events of Armored Core 6 happened. But I'm pretty sure Walter is already in some way has an intellectual is already capable. So I'm pretty sure Walter is around at least the same age as Carla, or at least 60 years old, or something like that. But
which is sad,
yeah.
Because you can tell how much it hurts Walter witnessing or hearing about Michigan's death.
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty much. Oh my goodness, it's almost 2 hours. Okay, yeah, probably have to go for one more round, and then I'll call it a day.
Because G1 was known as the hero of Jupiter, and Nagai stated that some of his friends there can take care of him, indicating that Michigan helped raise him.
Oh, okay. Wow. I did not know about that extra detail. I mean, there's a lot of things that were not said in this story of Armored Core 6. You could just probably find it out in extra materials. So, but given on that thing, you're saying that chat that G1 is already around before the fires of Rubicon happened. So that also says that Michigan is around at least more than 50 years old. Maybe. Huh. No, I'm just saying that on a logic basis. I mean, definitely G1 wasn't around when fires of Rubicon happened, which was 50 years ago. He's around in Jupiter during that time. So that only explains that Michigan, before you whack him, would be probably around at least 60 or 70 years old. Same age as Carla, maybe even 80. But that's the thing about Armored Core lore. Real age isn't exactly, they don't age normally because of those augmentations. I mean, it's part of the whole Armored Core lore, even on earlier generations of Armored Core.
So in the pursuit of righting the wrongs of Coral research that drove his father mad, he lost his other father too.
Yeah.
Sad face.
Yeah, that's also, I guess, yeah, that's also the sad part of the story. I think the canon ending of Armored Core 6 is more like the last ending. I mean, Coral did spread, which is Yeah, that kind of reminds me. There's almost on Armored Core franchise, there is no such happy ending. Even on Armored Core 4, I don't know about 5. I mean, even on Armored Core 1, there isn't exactly a happy ending on that story. Armored Core 2, basically, the main hero got killed on that as well. Or I mean, Armored Core 2 second generation. Wait, the only Armored Core I could think of that has a happy ending or happy conclusion would be the third generation. I don't know, just saying. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. So one last fight and I'll just call it today because it's been a long live stream. Yeah, I guess that kinda... Well, I guess that's one unavoidable thing on the story of Armored Core. Michigan really had to, you know, kick the bucket. But I think Michigan has been a long, probably at least 80 years old. And I'm pretty sure he's also augmented because on Armored Core universe, augmentation gives a long life extension to humans who would be undertaking that kind of cybernetic surgeries. Or as we all commonly know, if you're an Armored Core fan, you know that human plus thing. Although on Armored Core 6 they tried to avoid that term. But on Armored Core Generation 1 to 3, human plus thing was kind of integrated on the lore, or it's very much mentioned. If I'm not mistaken, in Armored Core franchise, there's also one, you know, one antagonist. He's kind of looks like 90 years old, but he looks like 40 because of that augmentation surgery. If I'm not mistaken, the main antagonist in Armored Core 2. But anyway, on Armored Core 6, going back, yeah, I'm pretty sure most of the characters here are mostly dealing with about more than half a century old. I don't know about you know, the main, what's the real age of the main character here? C4, what do you call that? You know, the main character of Armored Core 6. Okay, so let's do this for our final fight. I mean, for this live stream. But strange though, even though they're almost around 70 years old, they can still pilot their ICs. I mean, at least on the third arc of the story of Armored Core, you can see that Walter, even Carla pilots their IC, considering that their age is almost enough to send them to the nursing home. I mean, unaugmented humans. If there are no unaugmented humans, they'll just be probably just staying in a nursing on a nursing home or something.
C4-621 Hawk.
Yeah. That's what I mean. The main character. Oh, fine.
At 30%.
Yeah, C461 doesn't also have a backstory, or it's not exactly fleshed out. The main character here just says that he's augmented human, but his augmentations isn't exactly perfect. Probably left him disabled, or you know, probably left him with disabilities. That's also one thing that I was thinking. If C461 is that badly, you know, if the surgery left him badly disabled, how does he pilot the IC? Just saying, right? I mean, does he go inside the cockpit like a Gundam or something, or is he just inserted like a you know, like a USB, you know, USB stick on a computer? Yeah, I mean, just like Evangelion, right? If you think about that anime mecha, that franchise, The pilot is more like you know, inserted at the back of an e-pod.
30%.
Yeah, that kind of, I don't know, it just kind of makes me wonder how C4621 operates an armored core, or pilots an armored core. But there's also a contradiction. If we take a look or watching Keanu Reeves on that TV episode of Armored Core, we could pretty much see that the Armored Core there is piloted by a cockpit. And yeah, kudos for Keanu Reeves for you know, portraying a pilot in Armored Core. Although the configuration isn't exactly like Gundam. I'm pretty sure that his mech is kinda backward. It's not exactly modern. I was just saying, of course. Okay, there we go. Yep, nice. That was a great fight. There we go. Okay, so I guess that will conclude our live stream session for Armored Core 6 for now. Thank you everyone for watching and dropping by. Thank you, Avas, for providing your insights on you know, some Armored Core lore. I myself am surprised that you know, I kind of never learned on that you know, that details on that Armored Core thing. But nevertheless, thank you for your presence, and yeah, thank you everyone. I hope to see you soon, and I guess bye bye for now, guys. Bye bye, see you around.